Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 of the G1 League Season 5 Finals. It's the biggest Dota 2 tournament as far as a single event's prize pool goes outside of the International 3. $65,000 for just this one LAN tournament. Well, there's the Dota 2 Super League, but hey, this has Western teams, Lumi. This is Alliance versus LGD Gaming. It's your grand finals. The Alliance off to a fast start.
They are, and I don't know why we're not doing any predictions.
We missed our predictions?
We did.
I think I'm going to say Alliance 2-0.
I think I'm going to say Alliance 2-0 as well. And it's hard for me to cheer against the Chinese team, but just looking the way that Alliance have played, they're just vastly superior.
I didn't like the draft from LGD that game. I mean, I just don't think they have necessarily studied the Alliance enough. Bulldog is a much better lone druid player than they gave him credit for. And Broodmother, I still feel could have played the matchup better. Sounded could have kept the creep wave back a bit and maybe controlled the lane more. But Spiderlanes give a lot of gold, and ultimately, if you play a good enough lone druid, you're going to be able to win that matchup. And you also look at, he wasn't even pulled sentries. It could have been even harder for Sylar.
Yeah, I'm also not impressed with the fact that they ran an offensive trialing Juggernaut. How do you kill their Lifestealer? You spin on his Rage? I just didn't like how they laned it. I didn't like how they drafted. Hopefully, we're going to see a better improvement this game.
It's LGD. This team has delivered in the clutch before. They're your G1 League Season 4 champions. It wouldn't shock me if they take Game 2. It wouldn't shock me if they take the whole series, but they've got a tough road ahead of them. The draft now underway. We'll dive into it. The Wisp is here. The Alliance, they'll third pick it, and they snap up a Bat Rider. So no combo heroes for the Wisp yet. No obvious combos anyway. We have seen the power of Tether and Overcharge to make that bear hit towers harder. So even just for that, it's already pretty decent. You have Bat for S4. You now have your Wisp. You have a lot of pushing power through the Tether. You have a lot of ganking power through S4 Bat, through the Wisp. I mean, Lumi, should LGD have given this all away?
No.
I guess that was an easy question.
No.
What do they do now?
I mean, they need to shut down the Wisp very, very hard in the tri
lane.
Wisp is deceptively difficult to actually beat in a tri lane because Wisp himself is hard to kill because you could tether away. Wisp could actually protect his carry from being killed as well because you just hang up and tether and instantly there's like a ton of regen, or you salve and tether up to your carry and there's a ton of regen there as well. But you just have to make sure that Wisp does not get a fast start. They also have to worry about a Bat Rider solo mid from S4 and somehow shut him down. I don't think Magnus have a favorable matchup there. And of course, if you offensive trialing against a Wisp means you're going to have a 1v1 matchup against a lone druid. Arguably against the best lone druid player in the world. Every single lane, they need so much.
The one thing I do like for LGD, we look at their draft right now, two things actually. It's a very strong 5-man lineup, which is what you want against a Wisp. That's number one. Number two is they can go late game. They have Gyro, they have Empower. That's something they didn't have last draft, and I feel like that plays to the strengths of LGD. They are great at executing the fights. I would say they're not the most creative team. They're not necessarily too good at just rolling over an opponent. Well, we saw they were in the group stages, but I don't feel like that's LGD's normal form.
Right.
I feel like they're more of a team that slowly accrues advantages. This lineup, they get a little bit ahead. They can 5-man. They can start taking towers. Alliance doesn't have good counter push right now, so I think LGD strategically, this draft suits their style and their players a lot better. But you have given away S4 Bat, Lone Druid to Admiral Bulldog, and of course the Wisp to Alliance, who know how to use it. So it suits their style, but it's still giving away a lot.
I think Bat Rider and Wisp are actually really good counter push heroes, even though they don't seem like it. I'm not talking about their AoE spells like Flame Break to actually slow down Creep Wave. It's
just
more like
threat.
Yeah, it's more like when Bat Rider jumps on you on the target, it's kind of force you to take a fight, and that's when Wisp relocates on top of your entire team. And it's very hard for any team to, especially like for example, Magnus doesn't find a really good RP.
Right.
It's really hard for them to actually take that fight. I'm looking towards LG actually going Silencer here because I feel like it matches up against both Bat Rider and Wisp very well. If Bat Rider jumps in and start something, you just global, and then suddenly Bat is completely out of position.
Yeah, let's see if they go for that. That's not a hero. I don't think we've seen him once this entire event. Actually, even dating back to the qualifiers, I don't know if we saw him. IG, they did run him in the Dota 2 Super League, and they used it to perfection.
Tongfu loves to run it as a support. I think IG ran it a couple of times himself. So
the one issue, if you go for that for LGD, now you have RP and Global, and the Alliance can completely exploit your lineup when those two abilities are down.
And the other big thing is that you're also working with a tri-lane support that don't have any stuns. Silencer doesn't have a stun, Keeper now doesn't have any stuns. So even if Silencer was a hero they wanted, I'm not sure whether they could draft it because the laney situation becomes very difficult.
Now, what is Alliance going to do here? I mean, it looks like an S4 back going mid. Generally, Bulldog can certainly go off lane with the Lone Druid, but we've seen I mean, Liquid wasn't afraid to fight Trilane versus Trilane with their Wisp +2. I don't think Alliance is either. If they feel like they have a favorable matchup, they could go aggressive, but against Keeper of the Light, against potentially Gyro, it's a lot of damage. You can kind of blow up the Wisp from long range, so maybe this is where we see Bulldog relegated to the off lane, and they run a defensive Trilane with the Wisp.
Yeah, I think that's quite possible as well. In terms of what heroes are looking to pick up, I want to see a EG on Windrunner. I feel like when you have a fairly weak harassing support like Wisp, he really can't trade hits because he has 0 armor. Having Windrunner, who has one of the best animation, you kind of get hit and get out with hits, and if you're ever in trouble, you have Windrunner to get out. So I feel like that's a very good kind of 1-2 punch in terms of supportive lineup. I'm not sure what Lotus hero is going to be, though. They banned the Riki. Looks like the Chinese, they did their homework,
Lumi,
right?
Are you drunk? It's not a Riki. It's a Phantom Lancer.
No, I said the Chinese banned the Riki.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Are you drunk?
I was looking at my monitor.
Okay.
I was turning towards you right as the ban came out, so I was like, that's not a Riki. Okay, apparently I'm the one who's drunk. But Riki ban from LGD, it's a strong Wisp combo here.
Yep.
That's the big thing. Something actually the Pinoys love to use, the Riki Wisp.
And I think...
I don't know if Alliance has run it.
Yeah,
maybe
I'm
they
not
have,
sure.
but I haven't seen it.
Was it Milk or Loda? One of them actually likes Riki a lot. I think that was Milk. So never mind that pointless information. But I feel like Alliance still has a ton of kind of Wisp partners. Sven is a really, really good one. Gives you a ton of control in the laning stage. Tiny's a good one as well. So
the one thing I like about the Riki ban, he's a hero that can just jump on you instantly. It's a guaranteed tether stun instead of Tiny, who runs and avalanches you. Or maybe you toss the Wisp in, which is obviously risky because it's Wisp and you're throwing him into the middle of the fight.
Sure,
so. Also, Cloud is fantastic against Magnus. It requires him to get an early BKB, and, well, can he actually farm one in this game? Probably not going to have the easiest lane versus potentially an S4 bat, so I think it's a good ban. It's unusual, but it makes sense.
And we're going to see the Aki Enchantress coming out here, so they're definitely looking to use Enchantress early game presence to stack and also protect that Wisp. Looks like we're going to see a Sven pick up here, and this might be one of the dreaded support Svens.
Oh no. I don't think it necessarily is. Xiao8 has run a Tri-Lane Sven before as a farmer. And you have Keeper of the Light. Gyro can solo reasonably well. We've actually seen teams happy to put him solo versus Bat. Versus Lone Druid, we saw ZSMJ in the Dota 2 Super League crushed his matchup versus Lone Druid. Now, I think Admiral Bulldog is a stronger Lone Druid player than what ZSMJ was going up against in that game, but a flat cannon harass is always going to be irritating for the hero bear, and if you can zone him out and kind of win the lane before he gets entangled, lane's not too bad from there. So I think we could see a solo safe lane Gyro, a solo mid Magnus, and an aggressive triple lane with Sven, Keeper of the Light, +1, and I don't think it would be a bad lane, but Alliance, they'll go for the PA, so I think they'd rather have this over the Riki. This is Loda's bread and butter, basically.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it briefly as expecting a PA pick last game was that it synergized very well with the jungler kicking out because Stifling Dagger comes from a long cast range, applies a very decent slow, it allows your Chen and Enchantress, or now Enchantress creeps to run in and set up those stuns. In terms of this particular matchup, the Wisp and the PA could actually stand very far apart from each other, and they will actually tether to one or blink back to another. It's actually very hard for them to get kills unless you get those chain stuns. And speaking of chain stuns, well, Earthshaker
there you go.
Coming from long range, Sven follow-up, of course Illuminate follow-up as well. That's a ton of damage output.
It's a sniper lineup, basically. You can fissure as the Illuminate's channeling. The Illuminate's going to hit. You throw a Stormbolt on top of that. You may kill a Wisp from full HP to 0 before she can even tether to get away. And same for even for Loda with Blink Strike. I mean, obviously Wisp is the easier kill with 0 base armor, but I like LGD's draft a lot better. I mean, they've given up a lot, but I think the big thing is they've gotten a lineup that suits them, where they have the Yao Mag, they have Sylar on a true hard carry, not on a Broodmother. I will say it's a lot they've given away. I think maybe they didn't need to ban the Chen because Alliance can always go Enchantress anyway. I don't think that really bothers them. But aside from that, I think LGD, as much as they've given away, I think it's better than what they did last year.
I agree. And Earthshaker, as a matchup against a Bat Rider, it's not that bad too, especially when he blinks in, he drags one, and then you fissure immediately. Suddenly he's wasting a ton of that Flaming Lasso duration. But let's introduce the LGD boys here. They're down one game in the grand finals of G1 League. They lose this one, they are done. Well, they're out. I don't want to call them out because they're going to be staying in second place. But yeah, Alliance will win it if they win this game. Sylar will be playing the Gyrocopter on the 1 row. Yao playing the solo mid Magnus. Had a tough early game in terms of last hitting. Let's see if he can redeem himself this game against arguably even a harder solo mid opponent. But we'll get to that in a bit. Xiao8 will be playing Sven. We're going to have DD playing Keeper of Light. And last but not least, DDC playing the support Earthshaker.
They will defend their own jungle for the time being. They don't want to let this Enchantress get into an aggressive position. I think Alliance wants to defensive tri-lane. I mean, obviously that's what we see, but I thought they wanted to anyway from the draft with a Wisp. You want the levels, but LGD, they're not going to let them get into that jungle. They see the Alliance isn't going there. Now they'll back off. They've placed an Observer Ward here. So on this side of the Swedish boys, we've got Admiral Bulldog on his signature hero. You could literally rename the hero in Dota 1, and it would be valid and fair. They'll sit at Roche. They're not actually going to level 1 Roche. But we'll have Bulldog on the Lone Druid. We'll have S4 on one of his signature heroes, who's normally banned, the Bat Rider. Ake on the Jungle Enchantress. Smoke of Deceit already picked up on him. EGM on the IO. Last but not least, Loda playing the Phantom Assassin. Starting with a poor man shield, pulled a set of tangos. Lumi, it's a $65,000 tournament. $40,000 for first place, only $13,000 for second. A lot of money at stake here. A lot of Chinese pride at stake here for LGD. They said they would win the series 2-0. Xiao 8 sounded confident as hell. Didn't deliver in game 1. I'm interested to see if they can at least make a series of it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely didn't look like it. The draft was weak from LGD, the lane was weak, and the play was not stellar. I like this draft a lot more coming out from LGD. It's a lot slower, but it has a lot more resiliency. If you look at this tri-lane on the bot lane, they, like you said, they could play sniper tri-lane. It's a fissure, it's stun into illuminate. If they ever get level 2 on this tri-lane, Chakra Magic is gonna make it.
They're gonna stun Loda off the bat. Fissure's gonna follow up. Illuminate comes through and instantly down to 250 HP.
But here's the beauty of Wisp. Tether regen. Like, he's going to be back to full HP after only using 2 tango.
It's true. It's a great way to deal with it. At the same time, well, they can only do that so many times. Wisp doesn't have infinite gold, won't be getting any pulls, so I still feel it's an effective combo from LGD. Once you get level 2 on your Keeper of the Light, you can start to really spam it. They have 1 clarity. Actually, are they a bit lacking in clarities? No, 3 on DDC, so they'll have enough to use the combo a lot. I like this decision from Ake. He saw LGD's lineup. He said, they're going to go aggressive tri-lane. I'll rotate into the enemy jungle. Maybe I can find an early kill here on the Gyro. Not that hard to kill off, honestly, and he's going to walk right in now. Up. Seller will be okay. But he wasn't going to get anything done bottom. He was at a high risk of dying as well. So I think this is a smart and necessary rotation, and it means this sentry ward here, we see the big camp actually warded off by LGD. The Alliance's jungle isn't really safe. He'll just avoid it.
Yeah, I think we saw this out of yesterday, I believe against IG, where Nature's Prophet was handled by Admiral Bulldog, and they sent Aki's Chen up top, and they basically just harassed, was a Gyrocopter or one of the carry out of lane, and it looks like Sidelar in a little bit of trouble. The Stomp will miss from the Centaur, and looks like that's going to be disengaged. But even though Aki's not getting
coming back in, there's a clap. It's going to land. There's no follow-up, but it's just all about slowing him down, pressuring him. At the end of the day, Sven isn't likely to do a whole lot in this game. Aggressive challenge Sven, he's there for utility, not to be your DPS. So if you shut down Gyro, that puts LGD in a bit of a tough spot come mid-game, come late game. I'm looking at the 2 solo lanes for the Alliance. Same story as game 1, Lumi. S4, 10, and 4. You look at Admiral Bulldog, 9 and 8. They're dominating.
Yeah, I mean, but you expect this lane to go heavily in the favor of the Bat Rider just because he's a Bat Rider, and Yao's having a very, very tough time. I mean, on the bot lane, even though it's offensive tri-lane, they're not really going to keep down Loda, because once Loda turns level 3, Stifling Dagger is going to be a fine way to actually get last hits. So they really got to get kills.
Here comes your backstab. DDC, Invisrune picked up. They run the aggressive tri-lane. They'll have the rune control there. Yao's bullying S4 quite a bit. He's still doing, well, not all right in terms of farm, but he's doing what he can. We'll see an initiation now. EGM, he tries to get behind the tower. He's got the safe tether, but he gets stunned. Illuminate's being channeled. He dodges it with the tether. He'll live. And that's really all they care about. Meanwhile, top lane, Sylar.
Xiao A's actually taking a ton of damage. Xiao A's going to give a first blood. He was actually staying a little bit too long under a tower, tanking a little bit. You cannot mess around against Stifling Dagger and Blink Strike.
My God.
He's going to actually blink forward. The Tether's going to apply the stun. No, it looks like they're not going to go for it. It's only a level 1 Blink Strike. Loda actually takes Blur at level 3, just going for the ultra defensive build. I thought he was going to take Stifling Dagger for a little bit of farm. Maybe a change of design because his, hey, I just got first blood on my lane. Don't care. That
could have gone the other way. If DD had released his Illuminate a second sooner, I think LGD, maybe they get that first blood there. But would have been close. At least it would have discouraged Alliance from engaging. Instead, EGM, brilliant play from him, dodges away. He's trying to de-ward now that they got that kill. Lumi, you run this aggressive tri-lane, you got to shut down the Wisp. You got to shut down the PA. You can't be giving up kills. You have to kill them, or at least keep Loda and the Wisp completely underleveled and under farm.
Yeah, it sounds like a very cool idea until you realize, hey, it's hard to actually kill them unless you provide the complete chain lock.
S4. He's got a flame break. Is he going to go on Yao? Not yet.
Not just yet. Also, I did want to point out that at level 3, Magnus actually got the second point to skewer. He's actually just playing so damn afraid compared to the bat. He just wants an extra point to range.
There's a slow on Sylar, top lane. Do they have level 5 on Bulldog? They do. They need a root. They've got the stomp. Oh my goodness. The Alliance, are they going to run away with this game again? It feels like they might. They're already up 2-0. They've got a Wisp. They lead. I didn't even want to show that. 2,500 gold, 2,500 experience. LGD, I already feel like they're on the ropes up against this lineup of the Alliance. They needed to win that tri-lane, and they're just getting hammered all around the map.
Yeah, they're cutting their losses, though. They didn't win the tri-lane. They will back off. DDC will provide a little bit of support, but unfortunately, the pool not even favoring them. Aki comes out and lasted both of them. So DDC, he starved for level, he starved for gold, and now here comes the entire army. That Centaur runs a little bit quicker. Visual's going to get dropped, and that's less mana that DDC will have to deal with any kind of offensive pressure. Now Admiral Bulldog is going to be cutting out the creep wave as well. They can farm wherever the hell they want to farm.
They still have the 2 lead farmers. The Bat Rider, the Lone Druid, both dominant. As we expected, you give these 2 signature heroes who are already strong heroes in their own right to 2 of the best players in the world on those heroes. S4 on the Bat, Bulldog on the Lone Druid. They're having a good start. The big thing, though, is, sure, like you said, LGD is cutting their losses, but now Loda gets space, now EGM gets space.
Yeah, it's not that bad still for the LGD dueling a bot because they still have the chakra spam with the Luminate or Stormhammer. So, but Loda,
all they can do is harass. They
yeah,
can't really
they can't
kill,
and that's a big thing. And you see that Loda now kind of reassert his dominance, his place in this lane. He's gonna be rising away, and there's just no stopping it. The physical harass is decent. Oh, as the EGM dodges away from Illuminate, very nicely done. I mean, when you're trading even at this early stage of the game, you're happy if you're Loda, you're happy if you're Alliance, because you know you're winning the mid lane so hard. And it looks like we're going to see Illuminate, as well as a Stormhammer harass against Loda. Ton of damage being taken, you don't get the kill. They heal back up because they have Tangos and Tether.
And they're doing what they can, like you said, it's damage control. It's the best they can do, pretty much. The one big concern for me for LGD is I liked their composition better, but they have a Magnus mid for Yao who isn't having the start he had in Game 1. Game 1, he was actually farming better than this, I feel. He's only 17-1, 40-13 on
Jesus.
S4. I mean, you talked about it all game long, just the dominance of the 2 solos for the Alliance in Game 1. Hate to say it, because I wanted to see a best of 3 go the distance, but it's the same story. Sylar's going to die top lane. Looks like Admiral Bulldog might get away. He tries to dodge the stun there. I think he's actually going to live as a result. He's gone into true form. Can he live through it all? He'll resummon the bear. If he dies, that would be bad, but Xiao Wei out of mana is going to back off. Bulldog, he blocks himself in with the bear. He's going to escape. Admiral Bulldog, Lone Druid, Dota. My goodness.
Yeah,
what a player.
Generally, you don't resummon that bear if you don't have confidence that you're making out. Because if you die with that bear summoned just now, then you lose your bear for a long time.
That could actually have screwed them.
Yeah, he knew he was making out there because
I don't screw these things up. I'm Admiral Bulldog.
Yep, and now Loda gets absolute free farm on the bot lane. And LGD has drafted this kind of early game dominance. You win every single lane because Gyrocopter's a fine laner. Well, Magnus is a good laner.
I don't think you win every lane. You do well mid and top in your 2 solo lanes. You dominate the tri-lane. That was the goal.
They don't expect themselves to be basically now losing every single one of the lane. And where do you do from here, LGD? I'm not too sure.
You just got to play defensively. Problem is, you look at their lineup, they want a 5-man fairly early. Gyro gets level 6, he gets his phase boots, maybe his drums or his Reign of Aquila. He starts grouping up, Magnus gets Arcanes, and they can go. They might try to make a go on Bulldog now. He's actually not scouting Xiao 8 out just yet. Xiao 8 lurking in the trees. Well, he could
He's out of mana, actually. He doesn't have mana.
Oh, yeah, no mana for Stormhammer, so just biding his time. This is a desperation play. This is a tri-lane Sven. He wants to be farming, pushing towers, creating pressure. He's reactive now, and this is not what LGD want to be doing.
Yeah, if you look at Batrider's goal, he's not close to Blink Dagger just yet, but S4 will be rushing. I don't think he's going to be stopping for a boots upgrade or anything like that. And it's hard for right now for Yao to actually go in and contest the lane because all it takes is one support plus a good flame break from S4, and that's going to be a kill.
The one thing LGD have is the huge AoE combo. You get an RP off, you get the Fissure off, Illuminate, even Stormbolt after RP. That's an incredible amount of lockdown. Oh, Sylar gets entangled top. Could be in trouble. Is there going to be a secondary route? It's cooling. Oh, it's actually already cooled down. He gets it. He's going to find a kill. Now a haste rune from Yao. They got to punish this Lone Druid. Is there a relocate available yet? There isn't. There could be a TP potentially. Bat's going to come in. There's your RP. Skewer Bulldog away from the tower. The stun to fly out as well. DDC. He's looking for a 2-hero fissure. He will get Bulldog, and it looks like he'll get out. They desperately needed that kill. Bulldog, his bear resummon, is finally back up. That was absolutely necessary. I like what LGD has done here. I mean, It's not ideal. You lose your gyro, but they got to start trading. They got to start taking fights and finding kills because sitting back and farming, once the Blink Dagger comes out for S4, it's a totally different game.
I mean,
it's almost there.
If you're Alliance, you're like, well, you know, it sucks for Bulldog dying there, but he died to a 4-man gank. Loda's completely not being pressured. They only force out TP from the Batrider. Wisps is almost hitting level 6. If you're Alliance, you say, well, that sucks, but it's completely fine. We'll take that exchange. We're going to get farm on Aki in the mid lane. He's going to be hitting level 6 soon as well. So, yeah, it's okay. It's completely fine for Alliance.
If you're LGD, you really want to take a 5v5, even though you're behind, because once RP cools down. You have RP, you have Fissure, Illuminate, all the AoE I mentioned. Problem is, the Alliance, I don't think they'll give you that 5v5 fight. If they do, it's just a blunder from them. I mean, they'll just go for pickoffs with the Batrider Blink. They'll spread the map with even the Enchantress creeps from Ake. They don't have to fight, and if LGD groups up, they'll just split push, and they're pretty good at that too.
I completely agree. I mean, even if LGD is strong enough to 5v5, like, where do they force one, right? You don't just all chat 5v5 river, because Alliance says
no rush 20, please.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to just sit back, and if you push your tier 1 tower or something like that, a good Flame Break or two or a Firefly, your push is done.
And there's your Blink Dagger on S4. 10-minute blink, already level 8, 62 and 18. That's a big start for him. Actually, some damage onto EGM. He's going to have... Well, he's already got Relocate. He's going to have an Urn of Shadow soon. Bulldog's coming in now. Look at the pressure he's creating. It's like he's fine if he dies as long as they relocate. Here comes your Relocate. They're going to come in now. Loda's going to join the party. S4, or excuse me, Sylar is going to die. The Blink Dagger's up on S4. He's even ready for this. They'll be going back soon to the top lane. Is he going to bring Loda with him? That's the question. Yes, he will. So they leave Bulldog alone and immediate LGD strikes, but there's another entangle from Bulldog. Dota, RP as well. Sure, they're going to kill him, but they are just blowing everything to do it. He's going to go down. I didn't even want to follow him. Thought S4 might go in, but nope, he won't. So in the end, they kill Bulldog. I like what LGD is doing, just trying to take fights. They have to protect Sylar, though. Their lineup is built around him. It's built around a big RP, a Fissure follow-up, and then flat cannon splashing through. They're not built for a secondary carry to do the damage.
Yeah, it really sucks for LGD for kind of losing that 1v1 exchange, especially when Sylar's so underfarmed, but it's definitely better than the previous exchange they got. I mean, they got a 1-for-1 trade, they got the Lone Druid. Batrider had that Blink Dagger, but he was scouted out by this particular Observer, so he never did a single thing by teleporting up top. He basically wasted a ton of time himself. So, again, not the exact best exchange for LG, but you can't be beggars and choosers.
You know, it's something AUI talked about is how the Western teams play the Wisp. We see now EGM and Loda, they push one lane, the rest of the team keeps the other lanes pushed out. If you go on anyone, they get ganked. And S4 is going to blink in now. He catches Sylar again. This could be another death. He's already 0-4. Flame Break to the low ground. As far away as humanly possible right here in the nook under the ramp. And another death for him. Now 0-5. 12 minutes in. Kill Sylar, win game. That seems to be the plan for the Alliance, and so far, it's working. Meanwhile, well, Admiral Bulldog's finding solo kills on DDC. This ain't looking good. We'll see a teleport in from Xiaowei. There's your tether. Actually, EGM trying to get away. He'll eat a Stormbolt. He may go down here. He doesn't have a tether. He will drop. They get a much-needed kill, but the trade will still be there for the Alliance. Ake, S4, they're going to take a tier 1.
Yep, tier 1 tower. I mean, when you're doing 3 or 2-man TPs for a Wisp kill, and when the Bulldog's getting a solo kill now...
caught in the river, could be in trouble. Loda gets stunned. There's your Illuminate. It's not going to connect. Xiaowei pushed up onto the high ground by the Flaming Last, or by the Flame Break, I should say. Now the Firefly is going to come. Xiaowei, no way out. He'll slowly be burned to bits here. Where's the backup? S4 eats a Fissure. Is Xiaowei going to live? He's wanded up. He's sticked up. He's trying to survive. Still burning. The Firefly isn't ended yet. Is he going to live? He stuns EGM. One last Defiant stun. Then he'll drop. EGM tries to tether away. He won't be able to, but S4 does blink to safety. Well, Lumi, they get the Wisp. They don't get S4, and Xiaowei dies as well. The two heroes that could do the damage, they're the ones that keep on dying. Still no Blink Dagger for Yao. We're now 13 minutes in. He's still quite a long ways off. LGD, again, boxed in.
They are boxed in. The unfortunate thing about LG is that the people that are dying are the people that need to carry them late game. Sven has 2 deaths. Gyrocopter has 5. Have we ever seen Sylar being forced down this hard?
Bottom lane. DD, he'll try to TP out here. He's going to drop Loda. Well, the RNGG, as you like to call it, comes into play there. Easy kill. Only drum and phase. More than enough. And it makes it life hard for a hero like Earthshaker, even a hero like Keeper of the Light. You jump on them, they just blow up before they can even get off a TP scroll.
Yeah, here's a scary thing. We saw Admiral Bulldog did it earlier against the Shaker. We saw Loda do it now. these carries could now get absolutely solo kills. So LG have to travel in parties of 2. That means their comeback is going to be a lot more difficult. They get less gold, they get less EXP, and conversely, Alliance get whatever they want.
LGD, it's almost up to just the Alliance have to make a mistake. They have to overextend, and we'll see if they do it. For the time being, they're hanging out in the jungle. S4 flying around in Firefly. He's going for a 4-staff, already has a Staff of Wizardry. I hate to do it, but I'll check the gold graph. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering. It's about an 8,000 gold lead for the Alliance, about a 6,000 experience lead. It's going to be tough from here. LGD, they'll have to play reactive Dota. They'll have to force the Alliance or hope that the Alliance makes a mistake.
I mean, Alliance is always in the driver's seat because they have the blink initiation as well as a relocate. So unless Alliance have some sort of misinformation, they get screwed really, really hard. They're going to be kind of in the driver's seat for the rest of the game. It's hard for LG to actually initiate and jump. Sure, you could have a blink RP, which I guess Yao it's going to be picking up in about a couple of minutes, or you could do a 3 or 4 man smoke gank, but it's not going to be that effective because it's easy for them to relocate counter gank, and if they relocate in a Bat Rider and drops a good flame brick, suddenly your supports are going to be dying because they're going to be napalmed up, they're going to be taking tons of damage, and a single lasso again will turn ganks around.
RP is so good against lineups that group. Right, lineups that tend to clump up. That's where you hit 3, 4, 5 heroes. The Alliance don't really have a group up lineup.
They don't need to
unless they
group up.
want to. They don't need to group up.
Yeah, Wisp allows them to actually spread open. Bat Rider will be only ganking with perhaps Enchantress or maybe even Bulldog or just be counter ganking off the map. In fact, if they want to farm for the next 40 minutes, they have it done as well because all their tier 1 towers are all protected. So it's very easy for them to challenge Roshan. It's very easy for them to counter gank, but they won't. They won't play passive. They're looking for ganks. S4 as well as Enchantress smoked them.
If you give away Wisp and you lose the early game, this is what you have to do. You sit in the jungle, you farm collectively, you make sure the enemy doesn't have observer wards, or if they do have them there, that you're close enough together that they don't want to go on you. They have the Yao Blink Dagger. Yao has won many a game for LGD with a big Blink RP. It's not out of the question he could do it here. They'll need that miraculous RP. That's what's going to turn the game around for LGD. I don't think anything less will do.
Yeah, I guess a benefit, despite having kind of like feeding carries, is that they still provide you big
S4.
AoE damage.
He's going to blink in now. He'll lasso DD. He'll try to bring him back. The Fissure is there. The 4-staff has already been used. He tries to bring DD onto the cliff. He can't do it. He's kiting back and forth. Tether stun on Xiaowei. Caught in the tree line. Now Flame Break back. Stunning EGM. Can't bring him down. Well, it wasn't the smoothest initiation, Lumi, but they find the kill. They back off safely. Yeah,
unfortunately, Xiaowei caught kind of in the crossfire and away from his team, but we saw the power of Earthshaker, Fissure, counter-initiating against Bat Rider. They need a ton more than that. Unfortunately, they still lost the Sven. The only thing they got out of it was a bear kill, so that's why you don't see Alliance pushing, despite it's a 5v4. But, I mean, you staved off pressure now, but you still lost your Sven. So, V-check, 2-3 on Sven, 0-4, 0-5 on Gyrocopter.
Well, I don't know if feed check is fair, but that's the death counter anyway.
I mean, if your gyro is 0-5 and 2, is that not feed?
He's had a lot of pressure.
He
Let's
did.
Be fair.
Well,
it's Admiral Bulldog, aka Root Gamer 420. He knows how to win that lane, and we'll see a smoke from LGD. Sylar's going to lead the way. He's got the call down ready. Are they going to find a kill here?
Look at EGM. He's expecting a gank to come. He's tethered backwards. Oh, there it comes. He's going to actually just tether back out.
Relocate. Keeps him safe. Beautiful play, and he'll